All right. We good?
We good.
Let me do this real quick.
What are you doing?
I want to sit real low today. I want to chill.
Chill.
I'm in a chill mood.
Look at my chilling.
What?
Hello. I'm chilling.
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 I'm chilling.
I'm in the chill mood.
All right. Hey everybody. Good morning. We are here. Did you ever see that video of Nancy Pelosi where it seems like she strokes out in the middle of an interview and she's talking to a guy and it starts out like this. She's like, "Good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday." And then they start talking and then he asks her a question like 45 seconds later and she goes like this. Like she goes like, you have to look at me to see this. She kind of goes and she's like, "Good morning. It's Sunday morning." And it's like the weirdest moment. It's like, what? She's a robot.
Bruh.
Good morning, Jax. How you doing?
Jackie. Hello. Hello, Josh Jags.
Hey, liked by esports logo creator. We had a bot like our tweet that we're going live.
Oh man. Esports logo. Guys, we are definitely in the esports.
Yeah.
This is the newest esport there is.
Dude,
It's called sitting on your butt.
as a side thing about like streaming culture, because we both stream and stuff. Stream Elements, did you see that they made a new logo creator? And
What?
all it is it's literally all these pre-made assets like all these artists have been charging people for forever. It's just like this giant pack and then you just assemble it and it makes your
no.
logo for you. And I'm like, good for you, because that was the biggest crock.
That was the biggest bunch of crap ever.
Yeah. Me
Would
and
you
my,
like for me to would you like to pay $30 for a logo?
right.
I would give you this logo. And look, it's a horse. You'll see this
But it
horse.
looks just like the horse from this other guy's
It
channel.
has but this one has a triangle behind it.
Yeah, right. And it's like they all have it. Literally, this is the formula. What gender are you? What's your name? I'm
Right.
gonna put a picture of this gender. Do you wear glasses? Okay, I have a pre-made glasses asset. I'm gonna put it over here. Oh, what color is your hair? Red. Let me change the color of the hair on
Yep.
this thing. And then it's just like they type in your name and they put a shape behind it.
Yep.
Boom,
That'd be-
$30.
That'd be $35.
Yeah, and it's
Thank
all
you.
it's all pre-done. It's all been made forever. It's just such a crock.
It's gross. McDonald's coffee is gross.
Robot beep borp.
Beep borp.
McDonald's coffee that Nas got me. Yeah, that's right, baby. I actually want some of it right now, if I'm being honest.
I have coffee.
I have. Behold the power of pure water. That's a World of Warcraft reference. We also have a furry friend here. We're both deathly allergic. So if we sound stuffy and terrible, yeah, it's gross, but not as gross as it used to be. What?
What you were gross? Come
Some
get
is-
coffee then. I have a lot of it.
It's a lot of coffee.
This is like a 32
he's allergic
ounce
too.
fucking cup.
Yeah.
Is it a crock pot? Maybe. I've made coffee in a crock pot before.
I mean, why not?
It doesn't work out super well, but
I mean, it's hot water and grounds. At some point, you just
yeah,
strain
it
it.
makes real super weak coffee though.
I don't want to talk about coffee too much, but man, coffee snobs, bro. When I see these people like they post their videos where they've got like their little percolator where they've got like hot water and they're like slow pouring over. I'm like, you know what, bro? I just want a cup of coffee, man. Can we just get a cup of coffee?
Bro,
I'm even okay
I-
if you grind your coffee first and stuff like that. That's
Listen.
fine.
Listen. I saw the greatest daggone camera trick I think I've ever seen in my entire life
Okay.
about coffee.
I have no idea what that was. I'm just gonna go with it.
Okay.
Cat's touching stuff, chat, so we don't know.
Weird things there. Yes,
Are you high
cat?
on catnip? I think she's high.
So dude,
I'm high. I'm not really high.
took PVC pipe,
Okay.
caulked it to a plate of glass, and
Okay.
then put his camera underneath it so that it looked like his coffee mug while he was pouring his coffee, and it's just
Oh, right. Yeah, like a beef
so
with
it's
like
only
a
like
yeah.
this. It's only like this tall, right? So, but you can get the pour into the thing. I'm like, that's fucking genius. I've been pouring
Yeah.
coffee on my GoPro this whole time.
That's hilarious.
GoPro, by the way, coffee proof.
Slower pour over is delicious though, but you can also get slow strain like a Cafe Sada, and like all it is you just pour it into a little cup that's got the grounds in it, and it does it itself.
Yeah.
It's just coffee. It doesn't change it that much.
It
Let's get
doesn't.
over it, okay? It's like,
Do you know how you make really good coffee?
huh?
Brew it, pour the coffee in the back of the pot thing, put the pot back in, and start it again.
Oh God, dude, no way. Ew. That does not sound like the way that you make coffee.
That is how I make coffee.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It's so strong.
It's so gross.
It's hot bean water, man.
Hot bean water is a really good way. Cat. Whatever. If she eats something and dies, it's her own fault.
Yeah.
We have what were topics we were gonna talk about? One of them was like really short for me. I'm gonna talk about the Joe Biden hypocrisy.
Your penis?
That's a small topic, not a short topic. It's a small topic. Because short would just mean one way. Like mine's small. Right, got it.
Somebody grabbed
all
the corner
directions.
and pulled it in.
Yeah, it's a both dimension, right? It's a proportional dimension down.
So I mean, I guess one of my biggest topics is, I think his name's Tom Connolly, the senator,
Okay.
who in 2012 said that he went to Ranger School,
Okay.
served in the United States Army as a Ranger.
Okay. Right.
It seems legit so far.
Right. Yeah.
And then some Democrat senator, I don't even remember his name because it didn't really matter to me,
Right.
who was Special Forces, literally came out and said, if you didn't wear the headgear of the Rangers, you're not really a Ranger.
Okay. Right. Now keep that in mind because we're gonna want to delve into it. So that's the tidbit, guys.
Yeah.
Because we're still hanging with you guys. But that is what we're gonna talk about. That one, I'm gonna talk about the
Super weird.
hypocrisy of what I would argue. I don't want to call it the left. I don't like those terms. So we're just gonna say there's a hypocrisy occurring right now in regards to travel bans. I think is a little ridiculous. Also, we had technical issues. We couldn't get our NDI source to work, so we weren't able to make it so that you guys can see what we're looking at. But basically, we're going to talk about what Tulsi Gabbard said on Twitter a little bit, and there was one other topic that we both talked about.
Transphobia.
We could talk about the transphobia thing with
Content creators.
Content creators. Right. Let's make sure we put those quotes up. It's a square topic.
Hello, I'm a content creator. Transphobia. Done.
Right. Yeah. You're a racist. Done. You know what I mean? Like that's the way we
the
roll
Taco
with it.
Bell dong.
Yeah. Done. We should get that as a soundboard thing. Like when we're just done, just like boom.
Bong.
Kind of just does that. And then be like, not a sponsor. Hold on one second. I'm gonna turn the heat on because it is actually getting chilly in here.
It is a little nipply. Yeah. Hello, chat. I love you. Thank you for being here today. Forever and always in Mother Russia.
All right. So let's see.
Bro, real quick sidebar. I was watching fucking. Sorry.
See?
There's my one. That's my one. I was watching Instagram reels yesterday, and there was like, "Don't ever mess with." The caption was like, "Don't ever mess with Russian police." Right? And this car is driving down the road. Russian police officer straight double foot drop kicks through the windshield. And like, he's got his, like, you're going to shoot your feet, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
lands in the car and he's got the dude. 3 other officers come up, grab this guy, pull him out. He is apparently like a bank robber or something.
Oh, okay.
But then to get off of the car, instead of just like getting off the car, dude puts his feet up on the top of the windshield and does like a back roll off with his gun pointed at the perp the whole time. And I'm like, that is dope.
Yeah.
Like, what?
He trained for that moment.
just
For that
just
TikTok
for the
moment.
one time. He's in a junkyard all day.
And it's like his one chance and he's internet famous.
Right.
Hilarious. There was another thing that happened. I don't know if everybody saw this. There was like this, it was on Twitter real quick. I'm on Twitter mostly late at night. So a lot of crazy stuff happens late at night, like with the Antifa riots and the stuff that happens in Portland. It always happens when it's dark, right? And there was this video of these like guys this whole group of people, kind of like straight out of Fast and the Furious. They
Right.
took over an intersection, and there's
Oh.
these cars like doing spin outs, and there's guys recording it and getting really cool footage, and they're like peeling out and burning out and doing figure eights and stuff.
Okay.
It was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, a cop
Oh no.
pulls up, and the crowd gets in front of the car, and he plows through them, all of
Oh,
them, and
crap.
runs over people. And you see these people straight up. The car,
Oh.
literally, this
Like,
SUV goes
"Buh-buh."
boom, 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 like over these bodies, and these people
Oh,
are just laying on the
no.
ground. And I was just like, I actually thought that was going to be the moment where the whole country just went. I was like, I'm witnessing evidence of this whole country just going off.
Right.
Like, I thought that was going to be the moment.
Bruh.
It didn't happen, thankfully, but I hope that cop loses his job. I don't care if he was on his way to a scene and you know,
Right.
yeah, those people shouldn't stand in front of his car, but
you don't run over
But if you
people.
watch the video, he pulls backwards and then revs his engine and then puts it into gear. So
No.
he, instead of, dude, you're in a car. 16 people in front of a car can't stop it by pushing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just slowly accelerate.
16 people versus like 400 horses.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. You just push and push through. That's what you do. You don't literally get back, rev your engine,
Wow.
slap it into gear, and then go right through people. That's
Yeah,
the most
no.
crazy thing I've ever seen. And I'm telling you, man, police, I get it. I understand it's a rough
it's
job.
a stressful job.
It's stressful. But, dude, they are not giving themselves or doing themselves any favors right
They're
now.
not doing anything to show that they're not trying to be just a bunch of
Right,
assholes.
yeah.
Like,
Well, they're like, we made a TikTok video during COVID. It's like,
I showed a video where I was
did a
squirting
backflap.
kids.
I did a backflip and pointed my gun at a guy, and they're like,
I was
you know.
squirting kids with a water
Oh,
gun.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
teaching them that it's okay for you to shoot them.
Yes. They don't use their noggins. It's infuriating. But anyway, so start over. I wasn't here. Giggity. You missed not a whole lot. We just
long story short, donuts in an intersection, people in front of a cop car, back up, rev up, slam into gear, kill people.
And then and it's like because like you have like Black Lives Matter, so now you're caught up. So you have Black Lives Matter, right? Who obviously have issues with police.
Right.
And now
Which
you're
is
hitting
weird.
like just like everybody because this wasn't like black people. This was everybody, white people.
Right.
Like it was a whole
Right.
mix of people.
You're just
People in the
running over
cars.
people. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just run over them. And then you do that kind of stuff. And then it's the same stuff like at the Capitol building. Like the police, I don't condone the actions of the Capitol building, but the way that the police were like pepper spraying or like in Portland, when you
Right.
start hitting everybody, like you have one group
So-
of people on your side, right?
I'm not going to say who it was. I have a very close friend of mine who was at the Capitol building stuff, not inside the Capitol building. They didn't even know what was happening until after his brother got shot in the face with a freaking pepper
Oh,
ball round.
Right, yep.
Yeah, yeah. So they had no idea what was going on. They were like a block away, right at the concert with the Marine rapper and Topher doing their song "The Patriot."
Right.
They were over at that concert, a city block. That's not small.
Right. Yeah,
Those city blocks
and
are
city
huge.
blocks in like DC are
Are
like
big.
way larger than like a city block in like Indianapolis. Like
Yeah.
a city block in Indianapolis is like,
Yeah, it's at
you
least
know, a
like
couple hundred feet.
it's like 500 meters by 500 meters or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah, it's
You know,
huge.
they're far enough away they couldn't even hear what was going on at the Capitol. And then his little brother, who's like 15 years old, gets shot in like you could see. He sent me pictures. It's like right underneath his eye, like an inch higher, and his
He
eye
probably
would've
would've
been
lost his
gone.
eye, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
It's crazy, man.
what? And
Right,
they're
that's
like,
what
we
I'm
had
saying,
no
dude.
idea what happened until he got shot in the face. And I'm like, great.
I'm telling you, man,
That's
we're
smooth.
in a weird spot when it comes to that stuff. I don't think that people realize it, but and you know what else? Okay, we'll go into a topic, and it's the hypocrisy topic. I'll just cover it as a broad topic, but then talk about the narrow
Right.
focus. We'll just
Yeah.
start with that because I do want to talk a lot about what was your main one, not the transphobia, but the other one.
Ranger tab?
The Ranger. I want to talk really in depth about that one because
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the questions again that I've asked you already
yeah,
just to kind of
for
get
sure.
that one out. But real quick, so Joe Biden has issued a travel ban for like most of Africa.
Not Joe Biden. But he's not a xenophobe. He loves
Right.
people.
Yes, he loves people, right? It's literally like 27 countries. Most are African, and then there's some European countries. And I think, like, I don't remember all of them. There's a huge list. Go Google it. Hey, instead of always asking that we provide you the information, just know that
Go
when I
Google
say these
stuff.
things, just go Google it.
Yeah.
But
Fact check us.
Yeah, fact check us. That would actually be great. But basically, he issues this travel ban, and there was this amazing tweet series that was going around that was basically showing Joe Biden the day that Donald Trump announced his travel ban for China and a couple other countries.
Right.
And Joe Biden is like, at the real Donald Trump, you are a xenophobe, and your policies that you're enacting, and I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically like calling him a xenophobe for shutting down travel from certain countries because they're Asian.
Okay, so I'm gonna be like real honest with you.
Uh,
I don't fully understand what a xenophobe is.
Xenophobe, it's fear of people. That's okay. Remember we were talking about earlier about transphobia?
Yeah,
Those words don't fit. Like they
Right.
don't really fit what they're trying to say, but they try to make it sound like it's a fear thing.
Yeah.
Like you're afraid of Asian people, so you're targeting Asian people.
Right.
Xenophobia is just the fear of people, right? But
Oh.
they're saying that you're being a specific xenophobe. Once again, it's more. Oh, and they also called him a bigot and a racist. Like there's other things that they tie to it, right?
obviously.
So
Because he's a Cheeto. He's got to be a racist.
yes, they are. And that's true. It's 100% true that they are on all sides. So here, I'm going to literally, you know what? Let's just go ahead and pull up the definition. So having or showing a dislike or prejudice against people from other countries is what they define xenophobia as. I would
Okay.
argue that's like nationophobia or
I was
something
thinking like
like
the aliens from Alien,
right. They're
like,
xenophobes
xenomorphs.
or
Like,
xenomorphs. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're a morph of
That's
a,
actually terrifying.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's terrifying and something you should be afraid of. But anyway, so you have xenophobia. They're calling it xenophobe. But then you have Biden literally saying this and then doing the same thing. And everybody's like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, Joe Biden does it
Right.
and it's crazily fine. And the other one that's really driving me nuts is Detroit. I don't know if you saw, but there was like a conspiracy to kill the governor
What?
of Michigan. Well, I'm sorry, lynch. They didn't mean necessarily they were going to kill. I mean, lynch
I
implies
mean,
killing.
lynching
Right.
is
They
killing
were
somebody.
basically saying they want to take her out. Like
Yeah.
there was a group because she had shut down so much in the state, and these
Oh,
people were like,
man.
"We're losing our jobs. We need to take her out." Right. And she's like, "No, during this pandemic, our numbers we're at like 400,000 dead right now, just in the United States alone." Right. And
There's like 7 billion of us. It's fine.
well, on the planet, yeah. In the United States, no, but it's like 300 million, 315 million in the United States. But still,
That's it.
yeah, we only have 315 million people, dude. We are.
I thought we had like
very,
I thought we had like 1.2 billion people.
I don't believe so. Someone looked at. You know what? Hold on. Here. Anyway, while I'm doing this, population
Control. Wait, what?
So anyway, but what I was getting at is now all of a sudden Joe Biden's president, and now they're opening up. Like this same person
Right.
who was saying like, yeah, 328 million is the
Oh,
population
okay.
of the United States, 2019. So it might be up
Okay.
to around 350. So, but my point is that so during this shutdown in like New York City and then LA County, the entire time is like Donald Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. We're not going to have restaurants. We're not going to have this stuff open. Everything's going to be closed. Now Donald Trump isn't president. Joe Biden's been in office a little bit over a week here, or actually not even a week. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. We're going to open up now." And it's
Right.
like if you can't see this establishment, like we were resisting this populist movement in government because they just didn't want there to be any credence. And then Tulsi Gabbard was on Joe Rogan, I want to say like 3 or 4 days ago. And during that podcast, she's like, I literally had senators pull me aside and say, you need to vote for this so that the Democrats look good and Donald
Yeah.
Trump looks bad. Like that was their mentality because to them, it's all
And
about
that's-
these victories.
and that's
Instead-
complete bullshit.
yeah, it is.
I mean, and I'm not going to apologize for that
no,
language.
because it
Like,
is.
that's-
No, that's fine. It
that's
is.
what that is.
It is because it's not about us. They
Right.
don't care about us. They don't care about these policy changes. They
No.
just want their dub. And I would say Republicans are the same. I would say that the Republican Party, for the most part, is the same. They don't care
So
about the effects on the people. They
I
care
don't-
about wins.
going back to something we said last week, I don't even really put them into two different parties anymore.
Right, the Republicans.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Right. Now,
It's just picking your different evil. you
right,
know?
right. And we do need, that's why when people talk about like great resets and stuff like that, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'd be okay, but I'd like it to go the other way, not the way they want it to go. I'd like it to go more towards like representative republics where the people, like, I don't
Right.
think that they should actually be in office that long. There's a
no.
lot that goes with it.
There really needs to be term limits. Like Joe Biden, for instance, has been in a political office for 40 plus years, right? And he ain't done anything. He is just like jacked off in a sock or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right. No.
Sniffed little kids.
And he stole valor. Remember, he plagiarized. He plagiarized a guy in his early Senate career. Or no, actually, that wasn't. That was actually during his first presidential run in like the 80s.
Yeah.
So like, we're not even that far away.
When we talk about the Ranger tab thing,
yeah.
I'm getting into that.
We'll look into that, and I'll pull up that information, and we'll kind of talk about it and stuff too.
But okay, so on the continuing with the topic of hypocrisy, though, you know, they claimed, and I'm gonna say they is like the establishment. They claimed that Donald Trump was one of the worst things for the United States, right?
Right.
And was he a great president? Did he do some cool things? Yeah. He got some stuff done.
Right. I think focusing on American.
But in the first 5 days.
Oh, here we go.
Of Joe Biden being president.
Oh man, he's going off on this. This is great.
ISIS came back.
Oh right.
And is in full force in Iraq and Syria right now.
And we're ramping up war.
And we're ramping up
our forces right now.
We are officially sending military troops back to the Middle East. When under President Donald Trump continued from Obama, and I mean, let's just call him what he is. Obama was a war criminal.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna say it.
You can say it.
I don't. Care.
I don't have enough research to back that claim.
Cool.
Like I don't have enough. I would argue that
some of the things that he did in Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan make him presidentially a war criminal.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look it up, and we can add those comments or something later.
We're officially sending troops back to Iraq to fight ISIS, who was gone.
Right.
Because we weren't funding them anymore.
Oh, dude. Awesome quote. I can't. This is like a quote of a quote here. I heard a guy say, he was like, oh, well, they're going to label me as a libertarian, a terrorist, because we were talking about that earlier on the phone. Sometimes I have to remember what we said on the phone, what we said on here. Basically, there's this idea, this previous CIA director was saying that like libertarians should be grouped in with the people who stormed the Capitol, and that white racists and nationalists, they were all one group of terrorists, like a terrorist group. And then some guy replied and was like, oh, that's cool. That means the CIA will probably start giving us weapons and funding here in the next 15 days. And I was like, holy crap, that's so
real,
accurate,
though.
right? Yeah,
it's so real.
True. And it's like, but yeah, continue.
So,
I just wanted to get that in there.
We were at an all-time energy low, right? For the past decade with, please get off of that. Don't turn off our stream, cat.
Kitty.
Get down, cat.
Come on, baby. Come here.
Come down.
She's in our she's in there. Go ahead, continue though.
Oh my God, you're going to turn everything off. So gas prices and oil prices by the barrel, like crude oil barrel prices right now, are at some of the highest they've been in the last 8 years. In the first 5 days that Biden is president.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Gas prices and crude oil prices by the barrel have significantly increased.
Correct.
Since Biden has been president.
Right. And that ties into the pipeline, because you want to talk about the pipeline.
And there have been, like, they're talking about shutting down the pipeline and all the jobs.
11,000.
11. That's a lot of jobs.
11,000 jobs is a lot of jobs.
If we only have 300 million people total, right. 11,000 is a lot more than I thought it would be.
Well, and keep in mind, that was, our unemployment rate was up at like 10% before that happened.
Yeah.
That, like, because of COVID and shutdowns
and
stuff like that. So now you're saying like, okay, we need to shut down. You guys need to all lose your jobs because of health safety. And oh man, dude, there's so many topics coming back to me that have happened over the last 7 days, dude. And then they're like, well, we're going to shut down this Keystone pipeline and that's going to take out 11,000. I mean, dude, Joe Biden talking about the pipeline.
Yeah.
Joe Biden prior to the debate,
right,
says on Twitter, we're going to end fracking. Then in the debate with Trump is like, are you going to end fracking? And he's like, no, we're not going to end fracking. What are you, crazy? And then he axes the pipeline and basically all fracking. And then in an interview, the press secretary says, well, we are going, and someone asked the question, this is how it was phrased, are you going to meet your commitment? And she says, yes. So they're gonna end fracking. Do you know how many jobs that is in the United States? I don't even know. I'd have to look
A
up how many people.
buttload.
It's more than 11,000 because
It's a
that's just the
buttload.
pipeline.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I mean, technically, what my dad does is part of the fracking industry because
Right.
he's a mining engineer.
right. And that's the thing is then there's other jobs that come out of that, right? Like
Yeah.
there's people that subcontract to those companies that it could be machine shops, small machine
Yeah.
shops, like they're supposed to be building a part for
Waste
'em.
removal.
Waste removal, all of that stuff gets it's a cascading effect when you shut
Yeah.
down an industry. It's kind of like when they talk about us going from like public health care to private health care to public health care.
Yeah.
That's a huge undertaking. You're talking about a business that employs in the United States like 115,000 people. And you're going to just, what are they going to do? Just all of a sudden become government employees? Like it's just
I mean, they
astronomically
could.
crazy. I mean, it could, but I'm just saying it's a big undertaking. It's not like, oh, we're going to flip a switch. Safety valves. Yeah, see? Look, I'm sure
That's what Josh does.
is that what Josh
he
does?
builds safety
yeah.
valves. Yeah.
So
yeah.
like safety valves for, I'm assuming like, are you talking about
Pipelines.
like pipelines and plumbing and maybe air pressure things and stuff like that? Yeah, all these release valves. Well, your industry just got shot in the foot
Yeah.
because that was probably gonna be a ton. Because I'm sure in pipelines there's a lot of valves and
There's
they need
a lot of-
safety. You know, so
I mean, think about like well, a lot of people don't even think about it. Welders. How many welders that weren't unionized? 'Cause
pipe
we
welders.
only know unionized workers on the pipeline. Right?
Yep.
That's the 11,000 is the
Yep.
union workers.
Yep.
We
Oh.
don't know how many non-union workers there actually were that now don't have jobs.
hmm And what was it? They wanted to legalize 11 million illegal immigrants. Is that what the number was?
11 million.
Was it 11 million?
Yeah.
So you have 11 million illegal immigrants, and you're going to tell 11,000 people that they can't have a job anymore, and then they're going to allow migrant illegal immigrants become legal,
I wouldn't even
and
call
then
them
take
migrant.
those jobs. Or what? No, some of them moved from like it's mostly like Mexico, Central America. Like I'm talking mostly
But
about.
I think of migrant and I think people that are legal. Like you migrated here and you're following all the protocols.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I guess so. You could call them migrant workers versus
Illegal
illegal
workers.
immigrant
Right.
workers. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a clarification there. That's insane to me. And yeah. So I wanna touch like we're still kind of in chat mode right now.
Right. What up, Nub?
Yeah. Nub. Who's Nub?
Nubonic. He's
Yeah.
one of my buddies. He's a
Okay.
veteran as well.
So
He's a veteran, former police officer, and now I'm pretty sure he works in IT.
my buddy's an officer.
So
works
he's
in IT
done
now.
like everything.
That's awesome. Thanks for your service. So you said something earlier about term limits.
Yeah.
I actually think term limits and age limits. So I don't think that you should be able to finish a presidency like 70 years old. Once that's achieved, your presidency can no longer have another term, if that makes sense. So you can't start a new term. So if you're 69 years old, you can start a new term.
Oh, okay.
But that's
I was
the
like,
last term you can have. You can't have more than that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
if you're 69, you can't go for a second term
right.
after you've been elected
Because that
president
term would go into
to your 70s,
your
and then you'd be
70s.
done. And then I would also argue the same thing for senators. But there's also a problem too that like our generation and younger, like they don't want to get into politics because they see it as a farcical, like it's not a real thing to them,
right.
and they think it's kind of a joke.
I mean, let's look at people under 30. We don't even have printers anymore.
Right? Yeah. But the thing
Like-
is but those people need to be in office.
Like, that's too much paperwork.
I was a fan of Yang. I was a fan of Tulsi Gabbard and the Democratic Party.
Yep.
I wanted them to go forward, but then
There was that
we got
guy.
an old 76. How old is Biden? 76? Is he 76 already?
75, 76, something like that.
I think voting should have age limits as well. Right. But we've talked about this a little bit, Pesquetios, and I don't know how much I agree with it just because if you're in your 70s, you should be able to vote on things that are going to affect you more so as an adult. Like I would rather
Right.
say the age limit should be increased on the bottom end. So like I don't think you should be able to vote until you're like maybe 24 or 25 years old. I actually think the voting age should increase because I think that at 18, you're pretty dumb. I was
Yeah.
really dumb when I was 18.
Yeah.
You
I
have
was
energy.
really dumb. I was really dumb up until I was like 25.
Yeah, that's
Let's,
what I'm saying.
let's be
Well,
real
your
honest.
prefrontal cortex isn't finished developing until
Yeah.
you're 25 years old.
I mean,
So,
like,
like-
I wasn't done breaking bones on purpose, like, until I was 25.
Exactly. Right, yeah, you were still doing Jackass films and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's just too much.
Like, hey, guys, you know what'd be really funny? We should jump off of this 3-story house into a 4-foot swimming pool.
Dude,
at
Biden
like 22
is
years old.
78 years old, dude.
Bruh.
Dude, 78. He's the
My
oldest
grandpa
president.
died before then.
Yeah, he's the oldest president to ever take office. That is
That's-
insane.
That's stupid.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
That's
Did
like
you-
that's like asking for a president to get kicked out of his presidency and the vice president to take over because he's got Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Did you?
Oh wait, that we're doing
wait,
that.
we're doing it, yeah. Yeah. Did you see? What was I gonna say? Just a minute. Yeah. He's. Yeah. I'm not here to just bag on Biden because like I didn't like a lot of stuff about Trump either. I wasn't a big fan of him either.
I mean, I literally only voted for him because he was in Home Alone 2.
Right. Hey, man, that's fine. That's your given right. You know.
Yeah.
I still argue that when it comes to voting for president of the United States, that we should go back to a ranked-based voting system where you have like 16 candidates and then you number them 1 through 16 as to which one you think should be president as number 1.
Yep.
And then the one that you don't think should be president is 16. And then you'd go this way and then they tally all those votes and whoever has the highest proportion, they're the president.
Yep.
And whoever has the second highest is the vice president. And then that way you get more of a reflection of what the people want as opposed to like a party-based voting system.
Kind of like how YouTube used to have the star rating system and not this daggone thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, dude, everybody wants to do 2. They want to take it down to 2. It's just nuts, man. But I just think that, yeah. There's just so much. But anyway, so, and then we'll just put a quick bow on it, and then we're going to start talking about your...
Jackie, that actually makes me really sad.
We're going to talk about your situation with the rapper guy, or not the rapper guy. You were going to talk about...
Hey, my wife is in chat finally.
Hey, cool. Hello, Mrs. Pugh. Let's take your big topic. We're going to I'm going to try and segue this into with the rap guy that we were talking about. Supposedly he wanted to be on the show.
Rapper?
Yeah, he said he wanted to be on the show.
I'm working with getting him on here next Tuesday.
Okay, so that's something everybody needs to look forward to.
Guys, the Marine rapper, I'm talking to him right now. Hopefully we'll have him on next Tuesday. Him and Topher both are going to be on.
Yep, we'll have to figure that out logistically, but we're getting there. And then... But what I want to say is, so the last thing is Tulsi Gabbard talked about the Capitol Hill stuff. So I'm trying to put this bow on it, segue out to this.
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard basically said in an awesome video that's going around Twitter right now, the people that stormed the Capitol building, they were domestic terrorists, but so are big tech companies. I'm very much paraphrasing what she said. I highly recommend watching the video, but I think that is one of the most powerful things because it's true. Everything we're doing right now on YouTube, we're starting at the worst time to start a conversation like what we're having on the internet.
But we
are doing it, right. But we are at the worst time because it is the time of silencing dissenting opinions.
I don't think that's what we're going to do, Spartan.
Yeah. You are not a constitutionalist, and I've tried to have that conversation with you. We will talk about that later.
Not
and
even
offline.
A little bit.
You are a self-proclaimed anarchist, which is very different because an anarchist would not believe in anything of the Constitution because that will be law and rule, and you can't have both. You can't believe in anarchy and constitutionalism. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think that you guys should check out Tulsi's tweet because there is a tone there. The thing I like about Tulsi, she's kind of wishy-washy. I'm kind of wishy-washy. You know why? Because here's the thing, though. I can never, ever be concrete on something because things can change.
So back to
and
2
evolve.
podcasts ago. Right? We talked about language, and we talked about like how we say things.
Right.
I wouldn't call it wishy-washy.
Okay.
Because that makes it sound like you're weak-minded. Right?
Yeah, right. No, I actually argue you're strong-minded because you're going, I need to flex.
So instead of like wishy-washy, I look at it as open and flexible.
Right. That's what people will call her is wishy-washy.
Yeah.
She is more of a like she changes like her opinion based on what's happening.
Right.
And that's why I like her a lot. When she was going for presidency, I was like, yeah, we need her in office. Like her and Andrew Yang were who I really wanted, but check out her tweet, and basically she's just saying that. And then this is the issue, and something we're going to have to talk about too is like, if it gets really bad, we might have to go to having our own website and doing our broadcasts ourselves so that we can be free to speak how we want to speak and say what we want to say.
Which is fine with me.
Which is fine. I mean, it's going to cost us a little bit. We probably need some help, but I think we can get it up and running. And start that and do that and just grow it organically instead of trying to use like YouTube algorithms and stuff to grow.
Right.
and just use word of mouth and, things like Josh playing us in his shop, which we really appreciate so that a lot of people can hear us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's talk about this in
all
depth.
right.
This is going to be like a segment, no chat, just we're talking about it.
All right. So Tom Connolly.
Okay, so frame it out again because people might not have been here.
Is a United States senator who, when he ran for office in 2012, made the statement that he was a United States Army Ranger because he went to Ranger School and served as an officer in the United States Army. There was a Special Forces operator who is a Democrat. He also is a Republican. I'll just throw that out there. It kind of matters to the story a little bit.
Right.
But there was a Democratic Special Forces operator who was retired and now a senator who literally said
it was Democratic Representative Jason Crow of Colorado.
Jason Crow of Colorado.
A U.S. Army veteran took note of the debate and said the truth matters. Go ahead.
Right.
And
his truth basis was that if you've never worn the headgear of a United States Army Ranger, you're not a Ranger. That's stupid.
Right.
And here's why that is stupid.
Okay.
Is because if you are in the United States Army and you go to the leadership, it's not even like a specialty school. It's not like you're a badass combat operator.
Okay.
It's a leadership school.
Okay.
It teaches you how to be a more effective leader.
Okay.
If you go to that school, which is known as Ranger School,
mm-hmm.
and you get your Ranger tab, you are a Ranger. You're a United States Army Ranger.
Okay.
There are females who will never, ever serve in a regiment because they probably don't want to. There are guys that were in my units that have been to Ranger School, will never serve in a regiment because they went to Ranger School. 2 years later, they got out of the military. Like, they'll just never go to a range. They're still Rangers.
Right.
Because they completed the tasks. They met the conditions, and they exceeded standards to become an Army Ranger. That'd be like me saying that I'm not a streamer because I don't wear a Twitch shirt every day.
Right. Well, and you're talking about the article of clothing. I like to
Right.
try and take it to like the layman's view of the military.
Yeah.
And like someone who never gets deployed, to me, still served. And I still thank them for joining the service because
Right.
there was still a chance that they would get sent overseas.
Right.
And they knew that. So I still thank them for it, even though to a degree, comparatively, they didn't experience that of what someone who actually gets deployed,
Right.
might have went through or did go through. And so for me, like saying that to a Ranger is that equivalent. Like, well, you didn't actually serve. Like, that's like them telling him, well, you didn't actually serve.
Right.
It's the equivalent, I guess, is what I'm saying. And it's just weird. Like, first of all,
inner branch and like inside of the Army, like Army versus Marines, Army versus Navy versus Air Force, whatever. We have that differentiation. Like, oh, you've deployed, you've not deployed. We call them slick sleeves.
okay.
Like, because you wear a patch on your sleeve that determines whether you've deployed or not. You have a unit.
Neat. Okay.
You have a unit patch on one side. You have your deployment patch on the other side.
Okay.
If you ain't got a deployment patch, you're slick sleeve.
Okay.
It is a way to quote unquote talk down to people.
Right.
Because you're better than them now.
And you had mentioned to me that they actually don't really like the leadership doesn't actually condone that because they say it leads to like toxic leadership.
It
correct?
shows toxic leadership and stuff like that. But as like comrades together,
sure,
the
like
camaraderie and as brothers, if we're not picking on each other at least a little bit, like
right. No, I agree.
You're probably being ostracized.
Right. No, I agree. Right. I always have said that if someone's not busting my chops,
right,
then we're probably not really friends. You know what I mean? Like I want someone to bust my chops. But I look at it like, to me, that's this whole thing. So this is going to talk about like stolen valor too, right? Like to me, like he still did a good thing. I don't understand it fully. I'd have to do a lot of research. But by the way, the guy that's like really, because by the way, this happened, I think a year or two ago. This
so it
situation
happened the first time in 2012.
Right. So it was a long time ago. And then this writer.
And then the article that was written.
Right. By Salon is the news group or whatever.
So Salon wrote an article about a year ago or 2 years ago almost.
I'm trying to pull up this history here.
And they claimed that he had stolen valor.
Right.
because of a daggone senator said that he didn't wear a tan beret. That's the article of clothing in question, by the way.
Right.
Is a tan beret.
Right.
I can go to Ranger Joe's, right outside of.
I'm gonna get me a banana hat.
That'd be like me saying I'm wearing a Captain Morgan hat today. I'm a bartender.
Right. Well, I mean, you are a bartender, but it's because you work at a bar.
But like,
and
I
you
can
tend
hand
to bar.
you the hat.
Right. Yeah. Here we go.
You putting on a
We'll do
Captain
that
Morgan
same thing you
hat
did.
doesn't make you a bartender.
Right. Yeah. No. Not
Right?
a bartender. Right. I don't even touch alcohol. I'm allergic. I don't.
So like,
But then this stuff's happening, and they're scrutinizing something that seems to get to a minor detail.
it's
Like
a
we're talking about
very-
nuance.
It's a very minor.
It's super
detail.
nuanced, right?
Right.
But then you have someone like, I'm going to pull it up. Continue talking about this. I want to pull up the
So,
actual quote that Joe Biden
from
said.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only did he steal valor, right? He also claimed that he was like in the top 10 or 15% of his class at law school, which was also a lie. He finished in the bottom 75 people, not percent. So they're nitpicking at this one senator because he did go to Ranger school. He did complete Ranger school. Ranger tab as a badge on his actual ORB, on his officer's records brief,
Okay.
and his DD 214 shows that he has a Ranger tab. That makes him a Ranger.
Right. And that's the
Period.
big thing too, right? Is like, I need to I need to know, right, like what that nuance is and how much. Like, so you guys call people slick sleeves.
Yeah.
Do people also bust chops and be like, well, you weren't a real Ranger? Like, is that one that they go
So-
for on that? You know what I'm saying? Like, or
Yes and no. So it depends on where you're at and what you're trying to claim your Ranger status was, right? Like if you're like, oh, I deployed to Afghanistan as an Army Ranger, right?
Yep.
That usually and 99% of the time accurately is you were with a Ranger regiment and you deployed with other Rangers as a specialty unit. Other times you're just deployed to Afghanistan as a rifleman or as an NCO or as an officer or whatever else. As a truck driver. Who cares?
Right,
You,
yeah.
you did a job. And so the Ranger regiments really differentiate that. Like if you deployed as a Ranger, you were with a Ranger regiment.
okay.
Now, like, so for me, for instance, I deployed to Iraq as a sniper.
Right.
I was attached to a MIT team, which is a Special Forces small unit operation.
Okay.
So I could say I was a sniper deployed to Iraq, attached to a Special Forces operation.
Okay.
I did not deploy to Iraq as Special Forces.
Got you. Right. And there's like, it's just a real small
It's
nuance.
a real
right.
small nuance.
Okay.
And headgear has really no meaning whatsoever. Like, so the regular Army wears a black beret. That black beret used to belong to the Rangers.
Okay.
Until about 2006, 2007. So 2006 leading up into 2007, they made the Rangers beret tan, the regular Army beret black, airborne beret is like a maroon color, like
Okay.
a raspberry beret, and Special Forces green. Because they're green berets.
Right.
Ha! That's fun fact.
Right. Yeah.
They're literally green berets.
Right. Yeah. They are the green berets because they wear green berets.
Because they wear
right?
green berets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that was
That's a given.
that,
right?
that was a given, right? But it's just like, but the
So-
Rangers are like the tan berets, and so
Yeah.
they're like Ranger sounds cooler. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
it doesn't.
So we
it
just
doesn't
stick with
fit, right?
Ranger.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just stick with Rangers, right?
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they've been called the Rangers since the inception of the Rangers. When they were originally the Rogers Rangers back in the Civil War. Because who wants to say Rogers Rangers? Nobody.
right.
That's like Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Like, okay. But so the guys that went through the Ranger training during Rogers Rangers were not technically a part of a Ranger regiment. They weren't in a specialty group.
Right.
They went to that leadership course that was held by, the instructors at the time of Rogers Rangers, given special weapons because they had longer range and longer capabilities. But realistically, they were just still regular soldiers.
Right. But they can't claim to be a ranger.
Yes, they can.
Oh, they can as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, this is all
because they
nuanced.
completed the course.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, well, yeah, the people that completed the course.
Yeah, yeah.
So what you're saying though is, let me make sure I understand this and clarify this correctly. So the Rangers, let's say a group of, I don't know terms, so I'm gonna speak in my idiot terms. A group of Rangers get deployed on something, and a group of non-Rangers are deployed with them to do something. Has that ever happened?
Yes.
Can these guys that didn't do the Ranger stuff claim to be Rangers?
No.
Correct. So there's a huge difference to me, right? Like he said, I did the schooling, I just didn't get deployed as a Ranger.
Right.
And I am a Ranger. I did the stuff that these guys all did, but they got deployed as one. But these guys can't claim because they were deployed with those. Because they don't have the tab.
Right.
That's the differentiator.
So as soon as you
really
get
important.
the tab, as soon as you complete the school, you're a Ranger.
We need like the trumpet from Star Wars being like Revenge of the what do we call it? The Ranger tab. Revenge of the Ranger tab.
I mean, and I just don't get why that senator decided to nuance that.
It's because it's all about the political wins, man. It's about left and right, and
because Tom Connolly literally said, "I never deployed with a Ranger regiment." He said that in his statement about his Ranger tab.
Right.
I never deployed with a Ranger regiment.
Is the Ranger schooling hard?
Yes.
Claim it. In my opinion, like if it's difficult. Remember, I was asking you about. Like,
I can't complete Ranger school. Do you know why? I can't fucking swim.
Oh, it's a swimming thing, right? Yeah.
So there's a point in Ranger school at the very beginning. You got to climb with a 60-pound rucksack on.
Okay.
Up a 45-foot rope, out a 45-foot rope, touch the Ranger tab plaque sign that they have, drop into a lake, swim back to shore.
I'd be dead. I'd die. They would have the crews on standby in boats.
Bruh.
Will be ready to go.
There are no crews on standby.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be dead.
There's literally like 2 RIs standing there like, don't die.
Right. And that's crazy to me, man.
And then if you do start to die, they're like, I got to go make sure this dude don't die.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the other thing I would say too is like at the end or during that situation, I guess they'd be like, well, I guess he's not a Ranger. You know what I mean?
No, they're like, hey,
no,
so they're not even that casual about it.
Right.
They literally will pull you out of the water, make sure you're not dead, tell you to go pack your stuff, and you're a no-go at this station. Either go to the recycling battalion or get out of Ranger school.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's harsh. So it's like a Navy SEALs type of thing, right? Like they're going best of the best.
Yep.
We're going to make a cream of the crop, creme de la creme people here, and we're going to push them out there. And you might get deployed, you might not, but you know that you were at some point.
You're going to get deployed. Like that's
right, but he didn't. That's what I'm saying.
No, he didn't get deployed as with a Ranger regiment. He
right,
was deployed to Iraq.
Yes, he was deployed. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me make that clarification. He wasn't deployed as a Ranger. That's it.
He was deployed to Iraq as a platoon leader.
Correct. Which is still.
But he wasn't part of a Ranger regiment.
Which the whole thing about this that just blows my mind is that the dude still served. He still was good.
Right.
Like he still did a bunch of stuff. And it's like, but we're like, you didn't go to range school. And then they say the truth matters. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, and here's the truth.
The truth matters.
Okay,
yes.
If we're talking about the truth matters, then Joe Biden claimed that he was a daggone soldier.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. And what's so funny, I was just listening
There's
to
actually a video on YouTube about it. You can look up Joe Biden stolen valor.
Okay, let me go to YouTube and try this here. Because I tried looking it up and all these articles were like the conspiracy of Joe Biden's first presidential run in the 80s. And they don't talk about it. Right, yeah. Right.
He literally said that he was a daggone soldier, that he joined the military.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, dude, we're in an era with we're in this era where the news could actually change because I might not be able to find the evidence of this.
I mean, it's the Mandela effect, right?
Yeah, I know, but no, it's not the Mandela effect. They literally can be like, YouTube can be like, hey, we are going to take this off like it never existed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's absolutely insane.
I'm gonna
okay, hold on. This is the Washington Post. In 1988, presidential bid, Joe Biden, who is a Democratic presidential candidate for 2020, plagiarized portions of speeches made by former President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock. It effectively led him to dropping out of the race. Read more. So see, this is more about him like actually like taking speeches, and I think some of them do make reference to military
Right.
service, and I think that's the big thing. I don't want to get like real deep into it without having the actual information, um but yeah, and I think that it, once again, I don't want to be one of those shows that just like hounds on Joe Biden, because one, it's low hanging fruit. I mean, I had a zinger of a tweet. This guy posted this thing that said something like, Joe Biden lies, or people are saying that Joe Biden isn't lying. And I was like, well, is it really lying if you don't know what you're saying? Because you don't have the mental capacity to know what you're saying. And that's kind of my point, is that we're in this point, like we want to own the libs, or we want to own the Republicans, or we want to do that. I'd rather talk about how we need to focus on, the future, or like the implications of people's actions. So like in this situation, what are the implications of calling someone or saying that someone wasn't a Ranger? And for me, if you tell someone that they're not a Ranger, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to diminish the service that they gave, even if on paper it is one thing, but you don't feel like that paper holds the same value to you. You know what I mean? I just feel like you're trying to diminish him as a person overall. So that like all of a sudden, like, are you trying to say that because he lied about that, he's lying about all of his policy beliefs and things that he's doing are all mischievous and malicious and stuff like that? I don't think that's the case. What are you trying to imply with that? What are you trying to achieve with that? And I think that's my bigger fear right now, is that it's more about the owning and not the implications of what the reasoning behind the person saying it. My like 2021 theme, I think people are going to get tired of hearing, especially on the show, is intent. What was the intent behind what you said? And you and I have talked about this. Like when I say something, very rarely, if I hurt your feelings, was it not intentional. Like I say things because I say things for a reason. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes things just get lost in a conversation. It's usually when I speak more generally. But if I say, Mac, your beard looks like poop, I meant that to make you be like, oh, my beard looks like it doesn't, by the way. I'm just using that as a reference.
No, I got
and so, and that's what I'm saying. So like right there, I'm just trying to give an example. But if your feelings were actually hurt in that situation, that wasn't my intent.
Right.
But
and see, I think I said this when we were talking about this, is like I say things to elicit a response.
Right.
And oftentimes, I don't care what the response is. I just want to see what your response is.
Sure, right, yeah.
So if I'm like, hey, your glasses look stupid.
They do. Right now, they're dirty as all get out.
They're dirty.
You're kind of a blur.
Right
You're kind of a blur, if I'm being honest.
But if I'm like, hey, your glasses look stupid,
right,
and it instantly hurts your feelings, I can determine and I judge you in my mind up to what kind of person and what kind of character you have.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Versus
you
learn
if you laugh about it.
Right.
And you're like, they're
like
they're $40.
They should be brown because they look like poop.
They're $40.
yeah, I mean, my glasses are cheap, dude. I 100%.
Like,
that's what I do.
That tells me you're a whole different type of person.
Right.
And I'm more open to dealing with the person who also laughs about things than the person who instantly gets their feelings hurt.
Right, and always gets serious. Like, there's times to be serious, right? But, like, it's the people that are always serious, et cetera, et cetera.
You know when's a really good time to get serious? When you're at Ranger school.
Right. Yeah, and finish, by the way, right?
And finish Ranger
and get your
school.
Ranger tab. You're a Ranger, bro. I mean, that's the end of it. And I don't know. I feel like we've beaten this dead horse.
Dude, you know what's really funny? Okay, and this is just something that just popped in my head. Rangers have a thing when they get back to their home units.
Okay.
Where if they outrank people, they say, hey, if you don't have a tab, hit the slab, which means do push-ups, right?
Okay.
So everybody who doesn't have a Ranger tab does push-ups. Which means...
So, yeah, what we just need to find is evidence of him not doing push-ups.
Right.
And it's like...
Did you do push-ups? Nah.
Case solved. Done.
That's the truth.
And the truth matters.
The truth matters. See you next Tuesday.
Dude, by the way, I hope that you guys like that. All right, that segment's done. Let's talk chat for a minute. We got a little bit of time here.
Nubonic wants to know if you have tried DuckDuckGo.
I haven't yet.
I have. I like it.
I think I'm going to. It's just one of those things. Like I've been going to Google.com for like 15 years. You know what I mean? It's just like hard to get that out of your system.
It's been a bit.
I think you can change your default browser or your search engine and stuff.
Spartan said, Mac, you're still fat, but I'm also smart, so suck it.
I'm fat. Look at this. Look at this body. Look at this.
I'm
dad
also
bod.
probably way stronger and a better shot than you, so who cares?
I think this just overall this past week. Oh man, what was the other one that hit me? Oh
my God, dude. I just pulled up a website and this is the first picture that popped up.
Of who?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, that's hilarious. That is pretty funny.
Oh my God.
Okay, so this is
that was terrifying.
This is use DuckDuckGo on Google Chrome. Yeah, well the thing is I can't use Mozilla either because Mozilla believes in cancel culture. So I don't want to use, or I'm sorry, Firefox is what you young kiddies call it. So this was the other one, and help me find this. This one has to be found. We have to talk about this. The CDC stated that they believed that the vaccine should not be given to elderly people because the elderly population is predominantly white. And that frontline workers are predominantly minority. And so one person abstained and was like, that's dumb, right? And they didn't end up going through with it, obviously, like as an actual thing. But this is a group for the Center of Disease Control, which from last time I checked should just be worried about the controlling of diseases. And they stated that we should be doing that. And I stop and I just kind of like, it's one of those moments where I feel like I'm on a show. Like when I read this stuff or I see this stuff and I stop and I want to look at the camera and just look at it like, what? And then you hear like the canned laughter of the crowd at my response as to what just happened. And I just, it's things like that terrify me because that's literally racist. Like it's racist to say, well, we shouldn't cure white people or this group of people because they're predominantly white.
Right.
And that's like, oh my God. And you know, it's like the best example that I gave because I was having this conversation over the weekend was if COVID affected black people at a way disproportionate to relate, and I'm talking about like medically, like I'm saying like black people were just, if black people got COVID, they were dying, just dying left and right. They would be priority in my opinion.
Initial thoughts of AIDS in the 80s.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm talking about, yes. But if we had scientific evidence that showed that there was like a disproportionate effect on like a person's race,
right,
I would be 100% for giving them the vaccine first. Right. So let's just get that out there really quick here before people start trying to call me a racist or something, right? So I would 100% back that.
So I found the article. It's on reason.com.
Okay.
And the title of it is, to mitigate racial inequality, the CDC wants to vaccinate essential workers before the elderly. And it says, deaths from COVID-19 are overwhelmingly concentrated among the elderly, and thus it would seem obvious to vaccinate the older Americans. Obvious that vaccinating older Americans should be top priority. Yet, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, have released guidance suggesting that millions of essential workers should receive the vaccine before many people 65 and older, and part of the reason, according to the CDC report, is to mitigate the racial and ethnic health inequalities that older Americans don't face as they are disproportionately white, whereas the essential worker category includes a larger percentage of racial minorities and low-income families. And then it says, older populations are whiter. I can't even believe I just read that as a statement.
Right.
Harold Schmidt, a professor of ethics and health policy at the University of Pennsylvania, told New York Times on behalf of the CDC. That is, wow.
Did I just blow everybody's mind right now?
I have.
This is the stuff. And here's the thing. How many people in chat knew about this? Probably none of you, but I know about it because I'm trying to keep my ear to the ground so that I can talk about this stuff because it needs to get out there. And the only reason I know about this wasn't reported about on Fox. This wasn't reported about on CNN. I'm totally about shouting out who I listen to. This is because on Tim Pool's podcast, his live stream, that was said. And I remember because I put it off in the background, right? Like I'm doing something else when I'm listening to it. And I literally, when I heard that, I was like, oh, and I went over and sat and listened.
Bruh.
And then I was like, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. Right.
Have they never ever seen
Oh no, this is going to be a movie reference.
the World War II vet? No, it's not a movie
okay.
reference. It's a real life reference.
Okay. I was expecting
The
it the way
number of World War II and Korean veterans that are not white, they're every race but white,
right.
at the fucking VA.
Yeah. Well, so here's the other thing. So when they say that statement, by the way, I just want to make sure this is clear because
Those dudes are like 800 years old.
Yeah, they're old. Let me take that to the next step. So if you make that statement and you say, let's divert it from elderly people, you do realize that there are minority old people.
Right.
That would no longer get the vaccine.
There are minority old people that haven't retired yet.
Yes.
That are 65 and older.
Right. Yes. So what I'm saying is when you look at the situation, when they make that statement,
That
it's
don't
no.
work in the essential industry.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
They just work.
Right. They just work. What I'm saying is when you make that statement, because you have an issue with the fact that they're predominantly white, that doesn't change the fact that there are old other people that aren't white.
Right.
So you're literally being like, well, we don't care about the old people. The people affected most by COVID.
Right.
So it's just this weird disregard for everyone because of association to
It's like they
someone.
went and took a racist stance on an ageism issue.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That makes no sense. That's age phobic.
It is age phobic. Oh, here we go. This word phobic, right?
I'm cataphobic because I'm allergic to cats.
I'm allergic to cats, right? Yeah. I do you see the hilarious? But it's not. It's so sad. It's funny, right? Like that to me. How can you say that when it doesn't matter? Like I said, let's say COVID affected women, like disproportionately, like 70%. More or 70 to 80% of cases of death were women.
Yeah.
Give the vaccine to women. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
But we can't because the black community is predominantly men.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. That's what they would do. They always want to take stuff through this weird lens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not scientific. Scientific is I'm going to look at the data and I'm going to make assessments based off of the data.
Right.
The data of the disease, not the data of sociology, not the data of economics, not the data of this. That's why I kind of give Fauci, I don't like Fauci, but I give Fauci a little bit of a lead, a long lead with some of the stupidity he's done. Because when your job is to do something, your job is to also keep your job, right? So you're going to make statements that are maybe a little bit more overzealous to make sure you keep your job. Because it's better if you're wrong on the high end than worse if you're on the low end, right? So like if you make a statement like, well, masks don't do anything, but then we find out that masks do something, which by the way, I'm not going to start this debate.
You said do.
I did say do this. But you see what I'm saying? Like if that were the case, like we were to find that out, then all of a sudden it's like, well, you never told us to wear masks. Now you're at fault. But if you go to the other end, that's why you're always more secure than less secure. Because with more security, your points of failure are increased or decreased because you have so much more security, right? It's the same thing with his job and his statements and things that he does. So I give him credit in that situation. But in this situation, though, we're talking about like hard facts. And the hard facts are the majority of deaths are coming from people over the age of 65 years old. That's truth.
Yeah.
And that's just go look it up. And by the way, I don't condone like railing against things like masks. I don't condone railing against these things. I think it's not that hard to wear a mask, and you're kind of an idiot if you can't just wear a stinking mask and go to the grocery store. Dude. And also, dude, listen, my grocery store, you know why I don't have to go to my grocery store? I can grocery shop from my couch. I can sit there and put together an order, go to my grocery store, and they put it into my car for me.
Let's talk about that for a second.
I don't know if I want to talk about that.
Because, look, chat, I shop at Walmart.
Does Walmart have pickup now? I think they do.
They have delivery. $8, and they'll bring stuff to your house.
What, can you pull up into a parking spot and it's free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've done it at Walmart. Yeah.
But check this out. Here's why I still go to the grocery store, right? By myself. I go into the grocery store. I put on the mask, and I walk into the grocery store. Because at Walmart.com, I said, I need crescent rolls.
Right. I already know where this is
The
going.
only thing that they had on the shelf was butter flavored crescent rolls. Because I didn't say I wanted butter flavored crescent rolls. Guess what I got? Nothing.
Biscuits.
I got nothing.
Yeah, you didn't get anything.
They didn't bring anything. They were like, we couldn't find this item.
Right. So at Kroger, which is a local but also relatively national grocery store, they do a really good job. And before they fulfill your order, they'll send you emails that say like, hey, we couldn't find this. We substituted this. It's awesome. Right.
My wife said because they suck.
Yeah. But my point is that what I'm getting at is that, I am a lazy bum, but also I don't want to spend 55 minutes walking around a store, dealing with other people,
right,
et cetera, and those reasons. So if you have an issue with wearing a mask, if you think that there's some kind of like conspiracy against you for wearing a mask, then just use Walmart pickup and sack it up, or Kroger pickup, or whoever it is that you shop with, and do that, because everybody does that. In fact, Taco Bell have made their announcement about bringing back potato products to their menu.
God, I'm so happy.
I'm so happy too. I haven't had Taco Bell since they did it, but it's also because I'm fat and I was trying to avoid it. But they're saying that they were saying that it's because their business had to shift to a drive-through only model.
Right.
We are in a societal shift right now.
Yeah.
Where it's not just about COVID. It's about just period. We are in a shift where things are going to need to be even faster. I don't want to go into a store and spend my time shopping.
Have you seen Idiocracy, the movie?
Yeah, we're heading towards it, and we're not. I think that it's
Carl's Jr. can't give you extra big-ass fries.
Yeah. Right. I think that we're getting to that, and that's the scary part, right? But I think that but at the same time, we also get to live more. And I also think that it's also because I think we overwork. Americans, we're all like proud of this overwork ethic, and I think that that's also kind of dumb as well. I think that there's a lot there.
You're right.
No. I think we are to a degree. I don't think we're watering plants with Gatorade yet. You know what I mean? But like,
but Brondo has electrolytes.
But has electrolytes. You mean water from the toilet?
Plants crave electrolytes. Brondo has what plants crave.
Yeah, right. And then he puts water in it. Anyway, I feel like we're in such a weird place.
Oh my God, President Camacho. Can we?
I know. Well,
can we vote for Terry Crews as president?
I would, but yeah, I mean, like
even if he don't run, let's just all vote for him.
I actually really like Terry Crews.
I do too.
I really think he's an awesome dude.
I think he'd be a great president.
I do. If he became president, I'd be so excited.
Do you know why? Because I want my president to stand up for his inauguration speech and go boom, pow, bow, bang, bow, bow, bow.
Yo, America! Woo, woo, woo.
What is up? Yeah, boom, pow, boom, pow.
I actually believe that Dwayne Johnson would also be a good president.
I do not.
Oh, you don't like Dwayne?
I do not like Dwayne. I do not like The Rock.
I like The Rock.
And do you know what changed my mind on The Rock?
What?
When he got paid $1.2 million by the Biden administration to change his stance on some of the topics that he touched. And
I don't know about this one. We'd have to pull this one up.
Pull it up on YouTube and pull it up on the fucking news. He took $1.2 million to change his stance on politics because it lined his pocket. Why are you chewing on the wood?
I wouldn't do nothing. I was licking my paw.
I was licking my butthole. Yeah. So if you're the type of person to take money to line your own pocket and that changes your viewpoint on the world, no. You don't need to be anywhere near any political power ever.
Okay, hold on a second here.
You don't get the keys to the warheads. You don't.
Well, I mean, they've all been in that. That's been the case for a long time now, though.
I know. I know.
I'm trying to find the actual like what it was.
I gotta step over here and blow my nose real quick.
Go for it, man. That's fine. Let me see here, chat. Somebody else see if you can find it really quick and throw it up in chat. That'd be great. Social media fee is a part of his $22 million salary for the film, which is second only to Daniel Craig. Universal Pictures would promote his upcoming film Red Notice. Payday. See, this is about a movie. I'm not seeing anything about the government paying him or the Democratic Party. No, the child is not here, by the way. But yeah, we'll have to check that one out and talk about it later. Like I said, this one's talking about some movie thing because I put the $1.2 million.
Just type in The Rock Joe Biden.
The Rock Joe Biden. Endorses Biden for president.
Why would I bring the child with me?
I know. I thought that was pretty funny.
Why would I do that?
WWE legend actor officially made his first public endorsement for presidential candidates. He announced his support for Joe Biden. As a registered independent for years with certain ideologies, I do feel the Vice President Senator Harris the best choice to lead our country. Half-minute announcement. Go ahead and talk, Phil, here, though.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find this out.
So I doubt you'll find a lot of media coverage on it, but I have a website that I had taken screenshots of where it actually showed.
Yeah, if you can find those, that'd be awesome. We can post them in there or whatever. We can make a separate video. Like I said, another thing that we're going to be working on too is we're going to be working on. We need some outro videos for our videos on YouTube. I was told that feedback.
Can you post that link in chat, Jax?
There was a feedback that we received. A piece of feedback we received was that we could make a thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Blah 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 blah.
You said, "Why are you chewing on the wood?" And our kid would would do that. Dude.
Yeah, that's how my youngest is too. Like it's just crazy. She's
my kid bites me for bites us just he like ha ha ha. Like what the why?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I get you. But yeah, so we'll have to figure something out about that. Oh, here it is, the rap. Rush Limbaugh, Dwayne Johnson. Oh, well, unfortunately, it's Rush Limbaugh, which, in my opinion, kind of reduces a little bit of credibility, but that's okay. I'll still give it to him here on this. I mean, accused Dwayne Johnson of being paid by China for his endorsement of Joe Biden, saying the action star was pleasing his masters in China. Okay. Dwayne Johnson's audience, just like LeBron James and all of these current pop culture icons, this is a quote, it is the Chi-coms who are paying them, is the Chi-coms who own them, and is the Chinese whom they are loyal. Limbaugh said that the evidence during his Tuesday radio show using a derogatory term for Chinese communists. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what those mean. The conservative radio host then pointed to negative comments on Johnson's Facebook post to claim his endorsement backfired with his fans. Do you think he cares? I don't think he cares. I'm not seeing his first public endorsement of a presidential candidate by backing. So yeah, I think that there is a little bit of conspiracy because he had talked about how he had a new policy where if he promotes something on his Twitter, that's what that was tying the article I was reading as he got paid by a movie company to promote their movie on his Twitter.
Yeah.
And he charged them $1.2 million. I think that that's what they're saying is that like with statements like this, had 1.2 million likes and 7.5 million views.
Yeah.
And basically voting is always important. Yeah, and I mean, you know how like his Twitch streamers, like how you have to say like #ad or whatever, like when you're doing a video that's been promoted and stuff like that. Like if he received money for it, he should definitely 100% have to claim that he was paid for.
This ad has been paid for by the.
Like me saying this on my Twitter was paid for by the Joe Biden campaign or whatever, right? Yeah, I do. I think I think that's really important, and I think that we're still in a low information state. Right. Like I think that, and I think that voters are in low information voting standpoint. I think that like my parents, I try to explain to them, like, they don't understand, I hope my parents are alive for another 20 years, right? If we're lucky, they're here for another 20 years. They'll be old, but they'll be here for another 20 years.
Yeah. I just hope they don't drive.
Huh?
I just hope they don't drive.
Right, yeah. Like, I'll drive them around. That's fine. Well, by that point, we probably won't have cars. I'll probably be all Uber anyway, right? Like, people will be driving them. But my point is that, like, they don't get an Apple Watch, which to me is a pretty simple piece of technology. I don't want people of their age making policy changes and doing things because they don't understand what it is. Information moves too quickly now.
Right.
So when I look at stuff like, the reason I like Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard is they were looking at, like, look, we're showing in 25 years that like 25% of U.S. jobs are going to disappear. So we're going to have 25% more unemployment. We're not going to have new jobs. We're saying overall, we're going to have 25% unemployment. How do we handle this? And that's why they start talking about universal basic income. They start talking about these things because those things are
going to be necessary.
Because otherwise it's going to be complete turmoil. Could you imagine if 1 in every 4 people don't have a job?
I mean, that's pretty much now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, right. Well, yeah, in your purview it might be, but what I'm saying is on a national level, like every person knows 3 people who don't have or have jobs and one that doesn't.
It was brought up that not saying that you get paid for an ad could constitute an FCC violation, but I think that only applies to companies.
Right. I don't think I don't think it applies
to individuals.
But his pay, it depends on how he was paid. Like if he was paid as an individual versus like if he has like an agency and then that agency was
or
paid.
if he was paid by the Rock LLC.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like you just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know, right? You just
Yep.
got to find those things out. But anyway, I think that topic's kind of exhausted because I don't have enough. Like if I had the facts
Yeah.
and stuff, I would talk
Yeah.
about it a little bit more.
But
But I
Terry
just-
Crews, I would vote for in a heartbeat.
I think the big thing that people really need to take back is look at that CDC stuff. Like to me, that's an example of where we're like heading right now as a
Yep.
society. There are people that are trying
Yeah.
to make policy changes that could literally affect stuff off of their political views as opposed to like their,
Right.
So I just it's absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah, I just don't think you should make policy off of a personal view. It's just
Right. Well, but once again, the whole purpose, like I guess it just comes down to what do you view as the role of government? And I
to
would
support
say,
the people.
well, right. Okay. So that's like the base level, right? I actually, with the Rough Draft Conversations idea, the original concept when I was really thinking about it would be
Yeah, yeah.
like, I'd make a statement and I'd say, why did I make that statement? Like what was driving it? What was my intent behind that statement? And then when I go to that next level and say, so for instance, let's say, I'm trying to think of a really quick one. Like I like peanut butter and jelly, right? Like that's a statement. And then you go, okay, well, why do you like peanut butter and jelly? Well, because it tastes good. Well, why does it taste good?
What
Well,
tastes good about peanut butter and jelly?
Well, it's always why, right? So why does it taste good? Well, because the receptors in my tongue are, and you have to go down to that granular level was
Right.
my whole goal. But it would take forever to divulge anything because the why. But when your kid is asking you why, like everybody's always annoyed by that. My kids ask me why all the time. Like my daughter
Mine
was like,
doesn't.
oh, well, not yet. It's coming. My youngest is the big why kid.
Because I said so.
Because I said so. I never say that.
I hate
what I do
that.
is I over-explain.
Hate
I
that.
over-explain. So my daughter was like, why is the sky blue? And I said, well, actually, the sky doesn't have a color. What you're seeing is a reflection of water particles from the sun's rays hitting it. And then she's like, why? And I was like, well, because the sun generates energy and electrolyte from a product of fusion and fission happening within the sun's
I
core.
mean, technically,
And
the
I s-
sun's not orange either.
Right, yeah, exactly, right? And I sit there and I try to explain to her and I try to go down the road. And you know why? Because then she shuts up because I give her too much information
Right.
because she can't take it all.
Right.
And so but the thing is that information and the why of why we do things, the why of why I believe the way I believe, you need to come down to like core beliefs, right? Of like humanity, et cetera, and like all of that stuff. So, I mean, sometimes it can go down religious roads. Sometimes it can go down very atheistic paths. It just depends on the person.
Right.
And but the driving factors of why people believe what they believe is very deep and it goes further, but everyone always wants to talk at the surface level about their bullet points.
Right.
Instead of actually talking about why they believe what they believe.
Yeah.
That's why I can't really stand Ben Shapiro in a lot of ways because everything about him is based off Judeo-Christian values. Like every point of reference for him comes back to like Judeo-Christian. But at least he knows why he believes what he believes,
Right.
and it's a lot
And
more important to me than
I think that's why I respect him. Is because
yeah, it's the difference between liking and respecting. I definitely respect him.
He not only yes, he does go back to the Judeo-Christianism, right?
Right.
But he knows based in reality and based on factual evidence and science
Right.
why this is and this thing that he believes in that he ties back to Judeo-Christianity.
And I mean, he even talks about like, he actually talks about how,
Correct.
like he'll have debates about rabbis and stuff that have debates and like the interesting factors of each side and stuff like
Right.
that. Like, I wish I was like him. I wish I could read a book a day or 2 days and like give myself some form of education. And
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't have time for it. Right. And he does. So I try to look to him and people like him. And
Yeah.
the thing is so like, here's my whole spectrum, right? Like I listen to Bill Maher, I listen to Ben Shapiro, I listen to
Right.
people who are on Joe Rogan's podcast, I listen to Timcast, and I try to take everything I'm getting from those
Right.
sources and I try to come up with my own opinion. That's my best hope I have.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm trying to have it all filtered, right? And for a lot of people though, their filter is CNN and their filter is like all major news sources, like even Fox News. I don't like any of the large media because their goal isn't to inform me. Their goal is to entertain me. And their goal is to make it so that I am following a narrative that they've established. And so that's why I just try to stay away from those filters and things like that. I try to look at stuff and then talk about it here with you. So that's my my week 3 episode 3 statement for everybody. Anybody have anything else they want to talk about before we wrap up for the day?
Sorry, that was
No, you're good, dude.
that was Mr. Marine Rapper.
Oh, cool. Hey, by the way, everybody, I do appreciate you being here. Please make sure you're sharing it with family and friends.
Yeah.
People you really know and know that they're like they could trust your judgment as opposed to just like
Right.
the blastergrams of the Ethernet internet ether.
Guys,
Ethernet.
also, if you haven't heard already, and I'm just going to share this because it's something I'm really passionate about, is their music. Topher and the Marine Rapper did put their song back on iTunes
Oh, good.
with a independent distributor. So like they found somebody who was just like, we don't care, we'll put it back up. And so they're running an experiment to see if it was DistroKid that actually pulled their stuff down instead of iTunes. So it is back up on iTunes. It's back up on Spotify. It's back up everywhere. Which is really weird because, DistroKid told them that they didn't know why it got pulled down.
Right, but they might have.
But they
Which would
might
then
have.
also be like questionable of. I mean, I
Right.
want to know about when people start. I want to know when all of this stuff, all of it comes to a head. Like
Yeah.
for instance, we're talking about. Oh man, that was another big one that happened. I can't, man. There's too many things that happened in the past 7 days. This past 7 days,
It's been
like
wild,
remember with
dude.
Trump, how right at the beginning it was almost taxing because every day it was like, well, Trump did this, well, Trump did that. It's the same thing with Biden, man. It's just like all this nuts
It's
stuff.
just the same thing with more Alzheimer's.
Right. Yeah. Right. More and also more than just Joe Biden. Now it's like all of these people are coming out of the woodwork. Like there's people that said that Fox News shouldn't be allowed to operate. Like the government should step in. The First Amendment is freedom of press. Okay?
Yeah.
The freedom of speech, press. I can't remember the whole dang thing. Let me
Religion,
Joe Biden it.
the whole
You
thing.
know the thing. That's what he said when he was reading the Pledge of Allegiance.
You guys
Yeah.
know the
You know the thing,
the thing,
right?
You got to do
The First
thing.
Amendment covers freedom of press. What are you talking about? You know, and then there's also a quote too. I think that Dave Chappelle.
But
says,
I mean, it's the freedom of press. You can press them out of
right,
of
yes.
existence.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it means.
Right. They want, and and what also cracks me up is everybody's like, well, this isn't Orwellian. This isn't 1984 because it's not the government doing. And I'm like,
It is.
yet.
I mean,
But
it
it's
kind
there.
of is though.
But it is, right. And so I think that we are in a weird spot right now, and I really hope we come out in the right way on it. It just blows my mind. There's nothing else I can really say about it right now because it still has to be figured out, if you will. But I appreciate everybody being here. Please make sure you're liking and sharing. We're gonna have to probably pull the video down this time. Not pull it down, but actually download the video to pull out clips because I've got to censor things. Because someone said F-bombs, and I want to make sure that the stuff that we put on YouTube is...
I did not say F-bombs. I said fuck.
Yeah. So we have to go through and cut those out. I don't care about the lives. The live, I don't care about.
Right.
Like, I'm not worried about the live
Yeah.
performances, but the actual videos we cut out, I want to make sure that they're not filled with profanity. And then, we can kind of move from there. But I just make sure you're sharing those little tidbits. I think those are actually really good. I actually think that they work really well too. I think that people I have one last week. Mac was a little under the weather, I think, and he wasn't there.
Dude, my brain was
His
like
brain was mushed.
fogged.
I think that. So you'll notice
And
the
we'll
last
have
ones were
that.
me. Right, that's gonna happen. Me
You know,
too.
There's
'cause
gonna
we're
be
real
times
people.
where I'm talking all the time, you're fogged out. You're talking
Right.
all the time, I'm fogged
Right.
out.
And once we get the stuff where I'm actually able to produce from right here as well, where I can actually do the stuff that I'm talking about, like putting those video sources up right here.
Producing.
Yeah, producing, right. That will also change the tide. But in those two instances, there was mostly like me talking,
Yeah.
and like I have one where I talked about someone getting internet punched in the face. That was a really quick one. I thought that was good.
I really liked that segment though.
Yeah, it was good. And
Like-
if we shrink it down, it's good for TikTok and stuff like
Right.
that. And then, but the other one was like a 12-minute thing, and I can't remember what all we talked about. But just having those kind of little segments that you can share, so that way you can kind of, when someone says something in conversation, you go, "Oh yeah, I was listening to Rough Draft Conversations, and they said something about that." And then you can just show them that video. That's kind of our goal, is to have that kind of stuff segmented out. So, I don't have anything else. I'm about done. I got to be honest. It's getting really, really, really hot in here, and I'm starting to get dizzy. So,
Dude, it's like cat fever in here. For
Yeah,
me.
I mean, well, it's like, well, yeah, that too, and I'm
I
dying
feel
from
like
the cat.
fucking,
I'm
I
allergic
feel like
to cats.
Darth Vader.
Let me look upon your
Right.
face one last time. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. Please make sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing on the YouTube and also
and
in Twitch.
Facebook
And Facebook.
Twitter,
Yeah, we're going to be putting this to Twitter and Facebook as
and
well.
Instagrams.
Yeah, Instagram is probably going to have to be your world because I'm doing
I got,
3 right now.
I got
so.
Instagrams.
All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. Hey.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.